What's up, friends and family? Welcome back to another episode of the Highly Emotional Podcast. Today I have a special guest, Kionna Meishon.
Yeah. Hey, family.
Welcome.
Hey, family.
Yeah, you kind of got to pick it up.
Yeah.
So I met Kionna at the Revolt event and I participated in her sound bath, right?
Yeah, we did a sound bath. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that shit was amazing to me. I work a lot using the sound bowl when I create in the studio. A lot of times I use it to reset my energy, to reset my focus, to reset the room. Even when I'm recording music, I use it a lot of times to clear my ears after hearing music for a long period of time.
It's kind of like resetting your palette, kind of like wasabi between sushi. Or coffee between perfume.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's definitely similar to that. And so I've done it for a couple people. I've done this at a listening party. I've done this in studio sessions. And a lot of people, they feel some people feel anxious. Mm-hmm. Some people, they're I don't know what you're doing, but it feels amazing, to my spirit, to my body. Mm-hmm. So I want to say yours was on a whole nother level, but I want to ask you how did you get into that?
Yeah, so thank you I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. And I'm actually really happy that we met. I feel I don't know, for me, I feel kindred spirits is a real thing, I always ask, the divine to put me in a space of divine appointment, right? So everywhere I go, there's a divine appointment. There's a person, there's a soul wanting to see me or meet me or connect with me. And there's a mutual benefit to the energy connection or synchronicity. And so when I met you, it just felt like home. And so it's I say that because that's normally when I have deep connections, it just feels like home and I'm so used to it. So I was very happy to just be in your energy as well. I started with sound therapy over 10 years ago. And so at that particular sound meditation, I used the bowls and I used, I think, an ocean drum and probably some chimes. So a few different instruments. But I started over about 10 years ago. And really, I was really in a really tough time in my life. And coming from a space of anxiety, feeling depressed, feeling alone. I'm a single mom of two, two different baby daddies. I'm living in the hood in LA. That's where I'm from, Los Angeles. I feel misunderstood. I'm kind of feeling a little worthless. And one of my clients, because I used to be a hairstylist, invited me to a yoga event. And it wasn't yoga, actually. She got the dates wrong, coincidentally. It was sound therapy and breath work. Oh, wow. So I'd never experienced anything like that, especially holotropic breath work, which makes you feel you're hallucinating and floating. And
I'm trying to do that. I really want to do that.
So I want to get certified in it, but I'd never experienced anything like that. The breath work definitely, it was a different experience and I loved it. But the sound did something to me. I felt tingling all over my body. It was the first time that I recognized that I was bigger than just this human body. So I wasn't on this particular journey at that point. It was just the first introduction to an intentional life. And so I started going to the sound baths. So when they would have it, I just started going. And what a lot of people don't know is that moment, that week, I had wrote a suicide letter because I was battling with a lot of suicide ideation for years. And I just didn't think I can go on any longer. So when she invited me to the session, it was kind of let me just do it. Maybe this is it, let me just do it because she's inviting me. So, I hadn't had a plan, but I had written the letter. And so I really want to say that sound therapy helped me keep going because it connected me deeper to myself and it really pushed past all of the pain, which was kind of the reason or the root of the letter. It helped me feel lighter and not so heavy. And so it became a therapy for me. And so I continued to go to those sound baths and then I got into crystals and, I started reading on it. So I didn't start facilitating till about 5 years ago. I didn't start facilitating until about 5 years ago or for about 4 years ago because pandemic, right? So when the pandemic hit, I was already, going to sound baths that I found out here. But like when I moved here from Los Angeles, sound therapy was not a thing. All of my husband's friends was like, you play with rocks. Like what, I was totally like an outcast. I feel like I'm from LA. This is normal. And coming to the South, it was not accepted back in 2017 and 2018. You know what I'm saying? And so when the pandemic hit, naturally the world went in, and I decided to do like a energy certification, really to just get deeper within myself, not necessarily to help other people, because I was fine being a hairstylist. I wasn't trying to get away from that. And I bought a set of sound bowls, and through that course, it's the teacher's Jennifer, and it's called the Mystic Living School. And I did it online because obviously 2020. And anyway, long story short, I ended up getting sound bowls, understanding so much more of energy, like quantum physics, like chakra system, karma, and all the things I learned from the base of that course. I started reading and studying on my own, and then I became a facilitator. I got certified and all of that. Did put on a healing retreat, like a day retreat for 33 women. It was amazing. And then I started just playing. I started creating, doing these group meditations. And I was doing it every month, which is insane. I wasn't really responsible with my energy. Now I do them 3 times a year. I actually have one coming up. But so that's kind of what happened. And
that's dope. That's beautiful, because I would say with my spiritual journey, a lot of things helped cure my depression. And I used to be that used to be my identity. In my music, I glorified being depressed and popping pills and trying to numb my pain and just trying to pretty much, I would say stick or stay with the victim mentality. And then 2020 happened, and that kind of shifted everything for me. It started with me looking around at the crosses in my house, and I was like, yo, I'm doing a disservice of God, idolizing something outside of myself. But the more I meditated, the more I began to fall in love with being alone. And eventually it just cured my my depression on top of this is gonna sound super cliche, but meeting Kevin Gates. Kevin Gates, in the sense Kevin Gates hugged me and cured my depression, in a sense of giving me, I would say, exchanging my depression, my sadness for a feeling of power.
Right.
And stepping into my masculinity. But the more that I would meditate, my reality began to shift. I began to become someone other than who I was. I became aware of the food, aware of things that I'm putting on my body, in my body, the things I'm listening to. And then it just put me into the journey that I'm on. So hearing someone else say yo, this pretty much helped me with my depression is powerful.
Live. Yeah. It really helped me live. And it was like medicine. And that's why I call it medicine, sound medicine, because it's almost like you're dosing yourself with the right medicine. There is a placement in your chart, your astro chart, your natal chart, called your Chiron. And it's really representing the wounded healer, meaning there's always going to be something that stings a little bit in this lifetime, right? But I got an astro chart reading maybe a couple weeks ago, and she was explaining that to me and saying but you just keep getting better and you just keep giving it medicine. And you just have to be okay that sometimes this will just sting. It just be a thing for you, but you keep giving it medicine. And so I related that to sound therapy, because it's always been my medicine. It's always been, like you said earlier, reset. It's always been a space for me to just, I don't know, it helps me focus. It helps me study. I'll put on binaural beats, it helps me sleep. My children, I have 4 daughters, they listen to it to sleep. It's helped so much. And it's helped me appreciate music in general. Even listening to regular rap music, I hear the energy underneath the words. And I can feel the artist and the creativity. So I think it's just opened me up to music in general.
That's what I was gonna say. Since I became aware of the sound bowl, and I don't know if you ever heard of Dr. Be Serious, but he's this very intelligent guy. But he was talking one day about words on how they feel. And I've been saying this a lot lately, is like when you say hate, you can literally feel the energy shift and drop into your stomach. And when you say love, you can feel it vibrate up. And so I became aware of like music, and I've been doing trap music for however so long, but now I'm in a space where I'm creating something that is a mix of trap music and gospel music, and I just call it a spiritual. I don't know how
I love that though. I love how you shift, like you alchemize.
Facts.
Like that's what we are, alchemists. You know, we have that power to create. We're creating. You know, we sometimes are inspired, but also we have to make room and create space to come up with something new or different, you know, like everything isn't recycled. Some things are, because people say like, there's nothing new under the sun. There's always something new with me, I feel, you know, because I'm experiencing it. I'm putting it out there and my energy's behind it. Same with your music. So it doesn't even have to have a label. It just is. More and more, the more I grow up, the more I realize I understand Prince in a symbol, you know? I'm just this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's facts. He was on a whole nother level. So when you say growing up, like that's the thing. I still feel like we're children. Like I don't feel old.
I feel like age is like really like a third world, and like I was gonna say first, not third world, first world problem or construct, because everything is about being younger. Everything is about preserving this and preserving that because we're aging. But if you look at your life as coming here in this school to eventually graduate and to learn everything that you need to learn to pay back karmic debt, to create good karmic debt or good karma, like if you look at it as an experience, then really you're literally just, the only thing that's aging is the body, not the soul, because you don't age, your soul is eternal. So you're just coming in temporarily and your avatar will naturally get older because you're in a different dimension. But like when you say, I feel young, you'll always feel what your soul really is. You'll always feel that.
I like that. That's a great place to put it.
Yeah.
Because like the more and more that I like transform, I feel so much younger, but I feel way more intelligent. And I feel that maybe to the sense of the world, I care less about, you know, the constructs.
Right.
And I feel like now I'm just constantly searching for more information, but not information on what you can tell me. It's about what I can experience myself. And I was going to say, like, when you were talking about, you said your husband's friends and stuff like that, they were saying things about your rocks. When you started to transform and shift into this new, you know, spiritual journey from depression into, you know, meditating and sound baths and stuff like that, what did you experience? Because, you know, we all kind of, I would say like vast majority of people go through like that hero's journey. So it's kind of like trying to convert people to understand what you now understand. And you realize, okay, this person is in a construct. This person is still following the old rules to the world. And how can I like teach them or help them wake up? Like, what did you experience?
I'm smiling because I ain't really care. Like for me, I already felt like an outcast through my entire life. So like someone commenting on my crystals or whatever the case is, like, yeah, it stung a little bit because I do, you know, I haven't cared about other people's journey as much as my own, but I have cared about what people think about me. So I'm not going to say it didn't sting, but I didn't care enough to try to prove myself because I felt like this was so deeply personal that like whoever was going to be around was going to be around and who wasn't. And I never liked. So I grew up apostolic. You know, I grew up in church, Pentecostal.
Okay.
You know, like I grew up in church. And so I never liked the whole term like witnessing and going out to convert people. I remember being at my great grandma's house and like Jehovah's Witness would come to the door. I hated that. So when I started understanding more, I didn't want to be that. Even me, like at one point I was completely vegan. I wasn't like, oh, you eating at death. Like I felt like, you do what you want to do, but this is what I'm doing. If you want to know more, I'll be here. But like, I never was that person. And I think that's what kind of kept me grounded.
Nah, keep going. You're good.
I think that's what kind of kept me grounded. And also able to still maneuver in the same circles. I know a lot of people talk about like not having the same friends and stuff like that. And eventually they fall off and stuff. Yeah. But like, I'm still like down to earth. Like I'm still myself. You know, and I will say, what I did experience was immediately, I wasn't trying to convert anyone, but I was subscribing to the idea of perfection and like being really hypercritical of myself and not allowing myself to make quote unquote mistakes or learn my lessons, being judgmental, cuss my husband out and then be crying, not to say that I should be doing that, but like I was trying to be so perfect. And that came from like my Christian background, right? Like trying to be perfect, trying not to quote unquote sin. So through my journey, I've learned that you just do what you're supposed to do. And it looks different. And I could literally listen to meditation music and I could listen to trap music. And I really want to tell people and inspire people to understand that we came to this earth to experience the escapism, even through meditation, even through sound therapy. Like, let that be a tool in your toolbox, but there's no escaping this realm because you came here to experience it. So yes, you might twerk a little bit. Yes, you might smoke a little bit. Yes, you might go on vacation. You might cuss somebody out. But the point is, like, you'll naturally have more wisdom and stop allowing things to bother you like that. But you have to allow yourself to purge what's in you because anger, frustration, and all of that is still a very beautiful emotion. So I learned to accept all parts of me. It wasn't more so about proving to anyone that I was doing something right. And I think because I took that approach, because my soul took that approach, I'm much more inspirational to a lot of people because I'm real. Because I'm authentic. Like I went on live the other day and I was just like, hey, I haven't been on live in a minute. And I want to tell you guys why. It's because anytime I feel like my ego is getting fed, I take a step back. Because there's a fine line between godliness and ego. It's a fine line. You start feeling like I'm doing this me, your chest gets big. And whenever I feel that, I make it a point to check myself. And I have to take a step back. When I was doing the meditations every month, that was for me. You see me. I got these events. It's sold out. Now I'm like, oh, guys, like I normally sell 50 tickets. I'm only selling 30. Whoever makes it, makes it. And I'm cutting the tickets off at a certain day, whether I sell it or not. Because it's not about the number. It's about the people who are supposed to be there. It's about the energy exchange. And so that's just been my journey. Never really trying to convert other people. However, I'm always the people that they call me or ask me for my advice. And I'm going to give them all sides.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was talking about like dealing with a guy and, I think a lot of people expect me to be like, okay, yeah, like, whatever, even if they're being done wrong, I'm like, why don't you just see it through? Right? Because this is a pattern. This keeps happening. So you need to see it through to get what you need to get. It obviously didn't work. However, the lesson that she learned was that she needed to stop reacting and really sit in her feelings and feel her feelings through. And she was able to do that. And so she transmuted the same thing that I keep happening in different scenarios. And so she was able to see like, oh, I didn't respond this way this time. And I feel so much better about myself because I'm not regretting, flying off the handle. Yeah. I gave it a chance. It didn't work out and I'm moving on. That's the beautiful thing about it. Like this journey is not about perfection. It's about experiencing. That's what I've learned in the last 10 years. I've learned that I need to experience.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's extremely powerful. I think that's the issue with the perception of different beliefs is that when you're Christian, you're supposed to be this way. When you're Muslim, you're supposed to be this way. When you're spiritual, you're supposed to be this. And that was kind of my thing when I first accepted the journey. It was like, I'm going to be vegan. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to make sure I meditate. And then I started listening to Osho. Is that a book by Osho?
I love Osho, but that's Rasha.
Oh, okay.
I love Osho though.
Osho, whatever anybody says, if you listen to the messages, when you're trying to be something, you're in a state of trying and you're not just it.
Yeah.
What I realized from Osho is that you have to kind of you have to just be.
Yeah.
And
you
be aware
of all of the stuff, all of the labels, you just got to be. I remember reading a book and I can't think of the title right now. It's by Osho though. And I remember getting on Amazon. It took a long time to get here, but I ended up searching it up because I was looking at something in regards to sexual energy. And one of my clients was experiencing orgasmic energy during a session and wanted to know why. And I'm not into tantra. I don't know any of those things. So one thing I'm not going to do is lie to you. I'll go research, right? So anyway, I told her to get the book, and I was like, I'll read the book.
I know what you're talking about too.
Right? So like sometimes the sound bowl will hit like right there, right? It's energy, it's kundalini that's rising now that I know. But this was years ago. Anyway, long story short, I got the book. And I opened the book and he's like, don't desire anything. Don't love anything. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know,
Nice.
Put the book down, right? Put it in like my chest of books. And I remember picking it up like a few months ago and I was like, I get it. Yeah. Like you don't subscribe to anything. You just literally be
experience
present.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to smoke really heavily, like a couple years ago. Or actually more than a couple years ago, but I was smoking really heavily, really because I wasn't comfortable with my gift. I'm an energy practitioner, meaning I move energy for a living. So outside of the sound bowls, that's a part of it. But I actually have clients where I do one-on-one work of energy movement. And so I felt like it would be so hard to kind of like tap in. So I would like smoke to kind of take the edge off. And I feel like I would be like, I would see more things or I would get more knowledge, right? That's how I would feel, right? So then I stopped. Divine was like, stop. And I was like, okay, because I'm very obedient. So I stopped. And I'm saying all that to say, like, I realized that I was trying to be something with smoking and I wasn't honoring it as medicine. Right?
You were abusing it.
I was abusing it because I was using it for my own benefit that I wasn't offering anything back. You know what I mean? So now if I partake, it's very seldom, but it's literally like there's an intention to it, you know? And I'm just being myself. But what I was bringing that up to say, it's a presence that Osho is talking about, being present. And I feel like with someone who's formerly like highly anxious or like dealing with depression and things like that, it's the presence that we're missing. And so sometimes like substance can, especially like cannabis, can help you feel way more present. And so what I did when I first smoked again for the first time, I was like, I want to create this without this. Because this is what this medicine is teaching me this.
Being intentional.
Yeah. So without smoking, I'm able to just zone in. Like, you know what I mean? I could see every pore on your face. Like I'm right here. That's the beauty of the journey, is finding presence. So when you find presence, you don't actually have time to be anybody else but you, because presence is really all you have. You're just right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you learn from everything. Cannabis, clearly. You learn from everything. And that's the point of this journey. You come here as a soul to experience. It's like, I like to say, and all of this is like downloaded information. I can't like give you a book reference.
Facts. I know what you're
I like to say, in the spiritual realm, we are souls learning. We're in a school as well on these different planes. It's almost like bookwork versus being in the field. So I feel like Earth is like being in the field and coming here kind of like Men in Black zapped of everything you know and rediscovering a little bit by little bit who you really are and coming back to affect other people, to have a different experience, and really ultimately to experience love that in a way that you can't experience in the spiritual realm, because we're here so we can experience everything on a full spectrum versus being, when you're in your like God body, which is your soul.
Facts.
It's only love. It's only love.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, like, when your loved one passes on, well, first of all, everyone's not an ancestor, but if they are trying to contact you, it's from a space of love, you know? And it's just that you can't receive it, you know, if it feels anything other than that. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you, like, one thing I sense from you, like, I'm an energy person too. I don't like these boxes. I'm an energy person too. I'm
just trying to explain. You're trying to explain it for people.
What I sense from you though is someone who did a lot of shadow work.
I've done a lot of shadow work.
That's what I sense from you.
Which is actually why I've never tried mushrooms or psilocybin or ayahuasca. The reason I haven't is because I've done so much shadow. And it was revealed to me, like, that's not your journey. You don't have to be judgmental of it, but it's not your journey because you've done so much shadow. Like, I was literally, so I believe that everything is a meditation. So when you were talking about meditating earlier, I know we think about like closing our eyes. And like, I meditate all the time. Like, I'm meditating now, right? I'm present. I'm with myself.
I like it.
But on my way, I like to turn on music, and I was meditating to the music. And I was like, every song that comes up is a message for me, right? So rest in peace, Rich Homie Quan. he came up, I did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle. And I was like, that's me. That's where I'm at. I did a lot of fucking work to live this lifestyle of freedom, to pull up in my Benz, to be with my husband, to have 4 kids, to have this body, to look this good. I did a lot of work. It was really ugly, but I did it without proving that I had to do it. I did it because I wanted to do it, and that was my journey. So yeah, a lot of shadow work, a lot of accountability. I check myself. I'm not afraid. I don't even think there's a such thing as being wrong. I think you're always right.
I love that. I love that perspective. Yeah. Like that's kind of what meditating with a Buddhist monk taught me, is going beyond duality and realizing, back to what we were saying about that, the spiritual journey, is that light and dark, or shadow and light, however you want to call it, they're both a part of the journey. If we believe in the creator, you have to realize that light cannot exist without the darkness, and you have to work with both of them. So that is the truth. I got caught up in this thing where I was like, yo, I need to work out all the time. And I realized that I was doing it for the benefit of, how can I say this? The benefit of people outside of me, wanting people to take note. There you go. Validation outside of me. So I went through this stage recently where I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not getting a shape up. I'm not cutting my hair. I'm not going to the gym. Yeah. I'm going to sit with this, because I realized that the most consistent form of me is always the unhealthy, lazy version of myself. And I was like, I need to stop running from this guy, and I need to sit with it and learn how to love. I need to learn how to love that side of me. So I kind of it was kind of like depression, but it wasn't. I wasn't depressed. I put myself in that space willingly. Huh?
You were in the middle of alchemy.
Facts. Doing my magic.
You were doing your magic.
So that's what I was saying is one, when you are conscious of the shadow and the light, you realize that everything that you do has to be intentional. Back to what you said, when you smoke, you have to, same thing I was telling my wife, is she's like, I'm paranoid. I was like, you have to set your intentions. What is it that you want to feel? What is it that you want to do when you're smoking? You can't just do it. It's kind of like just drinking to get drunk or to abuse it. You have to find a point on okay, what am I doing this for? Why? What is the reason? What do I want to feel? Because it's your choice. You're in control of your reality. So,
well, that comes back to understanding your voice as a tool and how powerful it is, and how you literally have dominion over this earth, and you command what you want. So if you have to go back to thinking about manifestation, and how what you say, everything that you say, there's little tiny microscopic particles that begin to shift in response to what you say. So if you really believe that, you understand that your frequency, your voice, is calling things in, is changing things for you, is manifesting things, then you apply that to everything. So you can set intention over your water, over your juice, over your weed, over your sex, everything, your plants, everything. But I think our voices have been really dwindled down and numbed and grayed out as far as what we feel we can do, just because, I'm not going to get too into it, but just the societal structure and government and us feeling like we have to actually have permission to do certain things. When we came here not needing permission, we came here, because we wanted to be here. So once you start to get beyond that, it's not, hey, don't go crazy, but it's just you understand that you're calling the shots.
Yeah, you're in control of your reality.
Because there's a world, I think of it in layers, kind of like your aura. There's 7 layers to your aura. There's 114 chakras, but a lot of us know 7. I work with 12. But there's layers of your aura, 7 layers of your aura, right? And they overlap each other, just like your chakras overlap each other. It's the same thing with the world. It's you have this spiritual realm, all these realms, and then you have this earth, right? But then you're inside the earth, and then inside of you, you have your orbit. So you have to understand that, yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna ask you. Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. Another thing I sense from you is divine femininity. It's
That's so funny.
It's you don't feel aggressive. I know, I hate that people think when people talk about a female being aggressive, they think about oh, he's talking about the angry Black woman again. But I sense from you, you're very
you sense my power.
Is that what it is?
So I think you use
Talk to me about it.
I think you use the word aggression because that's a relatable term.
Yeah.
I don't take it like that.
Facts.
What it is like when you're truly in your divine feminine, it doesn't mean you're powerless. It means that you know how to channel your power. You know how to receive, because you can't love if you don't know how to receive. You know? So that's a compliment. I want to thank you for that, because I've worked really hard in that shadow.
I can feel it.
I've worked really hard in the shadow to get to this part. I just posted a post and I put like the soft life, and I never like.
I hate those terms.
Things,
I hate those terms.
But like I put the soft life in my story because I was like, I fucking deserve this soft life. I've gone through so much heartbreak. All of these things, I didn't even want to be here at a point in my life. Like, this is the softer side of the journey. My Saturn has returned. You know, I've done all that. I've done a lot of the grit, the mud work, right? And life is still going to happen. But like me being in my femininity is something that was very difficult to be in because I was raised to be very independent.
Yeah.
I come from a long line of single women. I've never seen a successful marriage. Even my husband, you know, I only got married because I was pregnant. He had proposed. I told him, don't propose to me. And he proposed to me. You know, it's like I wanted it, but I didn't want it. So that's why I was saying that, because I love him to pieces. But like when I knew, I was like, let's get married, because I knew once I had the baby, I'm gonna be like, nah. You know, like my masculinity was so, you know, and while you're pregnant, you're so in your feminine. So it was the perfect time to get married. Doesn't mean I didn't have to do the work of why I felt that way. I don't feel that way anymore, obviously. But it took a long time for me to be able to receive love or feel like I was worth love. And so now that I feel that, I've created that for myself. I take time with myself. It just kind of exudes out. So it's like what you feel is like, wow, she's really powerful, but she's really soft.
Yeah, she's really super chill. Like that's one thing. My last podcast was with my sister, and she's in the Army, so her thing is more like.
Well, yeah, she's in that period of her life right now where she has to exercise that part of her a lot more. And you know, we both, men and women, have the feminine and the masculine energy. So I now know how to work with that energy. And it's not to it's not to overstep or to like dominate, right? Not a person. I dominate my creation, my products, like my services, the things that I want to do in regards to how I want to show up in the world. I channel that fire that way. Because I used to be very afraid of like my fire energy. Like my big 3 is all fire. So that's really crazy. So when people find that out and they're like, you don't seem like that. And I'm like, I've done a lot of work. So I'm still burning.
Yeah.
I'm still burning, but I've learned how to slow burn. It doesn't always have to be a blaze.
That's true.
There's a time and a place.
Learning how to work with that shadow.
You have to learn how to work with your own energy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like I was telling my sister, I was like, when you start looking at like the research on like what they did to make you guys these single independent women, you're like, okay, now I get it. Now I get why my mom was that way. Now I get it. And then I tell myself like all the time is that like when it came to like believing in marriage, I didn't used to believe in that because I seen how my mom was treated. And then I also seen how the things that she would identify as and the way that she would act would kind of steer me away from one. Like, I'm going to say this like bluntly because I have to, like, it kind of steered me away from Black women because it was like, oh, all Black women, I would associate the mindset with my mom on how my mom was raised or how my mom raised me or how she would talk to me. And it kind of like took me away. And then my mom would always be like, oh, you know, how come you don't date Black women? Or my aunt would be like, oh, you know, he's afraid of a sister. And I was like, it's not that. Like, one thing that you have to realize is like the Black women I would attract would be similar to my mom. And it would make me feel so much less of myself just based upon the conversation, because I always been an empath. I always been a great thinker. But when I would voice how I feel amongst like Black women, it would always turn to he's being soft. You need to do this. Or when I'm in a room of the Black culture of our people, I'm the soft nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was always those situations. But like I had to do the research and I was like, oh shit, this is the reason why you guys are this way. This is the reason why, is because this isn't you personally. This is a behavior that's been passed down.
And that's been created. So I guess that's why you're very intrigued and you're like,
yo,
this black woman is...
No, you know what I'm saying? We all black. But no, I get what you're saying, facts.
Saying, like, maybe you don't come up... I know that I'm one of one. I know a lot of people, but I'm one of one. I know that I'm a very powerful person. So I'll say this, like, when people experience me, I am married, happily married, but I attract a lot of men because I'm so damn cool. And I think it's because their idea of black women are the fact that we are quote unquote aggressive, or we're going to have an attitude and all of those things.
That's the trends of our culture though. Yeah, like if you look at it.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, I'm a black woman that has done her shadow work. So I show up differently.
That's a bar.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I think anyone that's not showing up in this, obviously not duplicated energy, but in this calmness or this centeredness, they're still doing their work. And that's okay too.
What you just said is facts, is that anytime, like I was saying, is that anytime that I mention the black woman or this and that, people instantly get offended. Like, people instantly think like I'm downplaying our sisters or downplaying black culture or this and that. And I'm like, I'm going to say this is like, we have to stop identifying as black. I'm over these terms and realize that we need to identify as God. But instantly when people speak like this, people think that I'm separating myself or I'm ashamed or I'm trying to like downplay black culture. And that's bullshit.
Well, here's the thing. I can see both sides. And I subscribe to both sides. I'll say
Facts.
This. Like, the soul doesn't have a color. So we only decide to be this color when we come to Earth. We decide to be this race or whatever you want to call it, right? But at the same time, I'm still here on this Earth living a very black experience.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to go hard for mine, period.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean that I'm judging other people for their choices. I'm going to go hard for mine. And regardless of what your choice is, if you are a part of mine, you're still mine.
That's bars.
That's unconditional love. Now, it's different when you are someone who decides to date, marry, or procreate with another race, and then you downplay, you know, what you used to have, right? You don't have to say, well, yeah, when I was doing this, I was experiencing this. You can just say, I'm experiencing this now and I love it. You don't have, the people do the comparison. And that creates this construct of like, oh, going to the quote unquote other side or doing these other things. I'm in particular, like, I'm not interested in dating outside of my race.
Facts.
But
There's nothing wrong with that.
But I'm not against anyone who decides to do that. I also, and personally for me, I needed a black husband and black children because that was a part of my legacy.
That's what works for you.
Right.
In a sense.
And that was for me. But I have friends who have significant others that are Hispanic and Asian and all the things. And none of it bothers me. I mean, there are some things that are social things that maybe they won't fully understand. But also, I think even needing someone to understand your story and your experience is a validation thing too. So I think you just have to be okay with yourself and your choices. And guess what? Like I said before, people are going to feel a way about whatever you're talking about. So fuck it. They're not going to like that you mentioned black women, but you are black. It would be different if you weren't black.
Yeah, that's facts. That's
facts. Because you're speaking about something you don't know, but you have an experience of black women. So you have all the permission to talk about your experience and your opinions, just like they have the capability to do the same.
I like that. Thank you for giving me that validation.
I don't want you to tip. I feel like you're such a great spirit and a great soul.
I appreciate
you have
that.
such good energy, such a big heart. I don't want you to put your own self in a box in fear of what you may say to shake up the room. You're a room shaker, so be that. Be that.
Thank you.
Be controversial. It's fine. Be that.
I appreciate that. You just put a battery in my back. I wanted to spin back on the spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had experiences with like astral projection, like the spiritual realm on that sense? Or do you read, like you said, or you read auras, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about your experience on that.
So astral projection, maybe not in the sense of like the actual definition, but I have experienced myself maybe not looking at my body, which is like an OBE, out of body experience, but I have dreamed or been in a meditation where I've gone somewhere else or seen myself somewhere else. So like in a visual sense. I am someone that speaks in tongues. It's a gift of mine.
I want to hear it.
I can't turn it on like that.
Oh, I was like,
I
yo.
could, but I don't work with it like that. It's something that kind of happens. It's a deeply spiritual, like, I don't even think my husband has heard it. It's a deeply spiritual experience that happens when it's supposed to, when I'm in a deep space with God.
I like
so
that.
It's not something that, like, when people say that and they're like saying the same words on social media, you see, and it's like, I don't know what that is, but what mine is something that I've been doing. It's happened since 8 years old. And it's something that's been with me when I'm in a deep prayer. Either I'm feeling really grateful or I'm doing my work. So whatever the case is, with that being said, normally those experiences happen with that or around that. And so I think I hired a nanny for my third child. So I have 4 daughters. But for my third daughter, I had a nanny, and coincidentally, quote unquote, she was a meditation teacher. And I didn't know.
That's crazy.
She taught me how to meditate. She taught me how to go within my sanctuary. And so I've taken that.
I like that you pointed to your third eye.
Yeah.
That's fire.
So going into my sanctuary really opens that perspective up. And so when I do that, it doesn't always happen after speaking in tongues, but just like when I'm in that space, when I'm deeply there, a lot of times when I'm fasting, on a detox, things like that, when I've kind of ridded my body of things, I become a little lighter. I feel like I can go deeper, but also dreaming. I think everybody has gifts. I'm not someone that says like, oh, I want to astral project. I just have my gifts and I'm like good at that. Well, I'm trying to get comfortable with all of them. I've shunned some of them away because they're a little bit scary to me, like fear. But as I become more intentional and like comfortable in my journey, I see how it's kind of like naturally happening. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can kind of see auras, or really when I say see, people would think like I'm seeing the color, but I really see like the health. So whether it's muddy or like staticky or light or like stagnant or stuck or stuffy, that's what I see. Or I could feel like energy within your body, like how it's running. If it's running fast or slow, I could feel like organs pumping. It's really crazy.
That's dope.
So like that's my gift. And I think as I was reading and learning, I was trying to like be all the gifts. And I was like, I could do that. But like, what's my dominant? My dominant is like feeling, which they call clairsentient. Clairaudient too, because sometimes like when I'm in my sessions, you'll like see me do this because my messages always come on the left side of me. So it's like audio, like I could hear.
Yo, you like really became aware, like where, like what side it comes.
It comes this way. Yeah, it comes that way. And then sometimes I do get visions. Like I might see a stop sign, which means like stop, or I might see a color, or like let's say I'm over someone's aura and I'm like balancing the aura. And maybe we're in the root chakra, which is associated with the color red, or the red color spectrum. So maybe I'll see, I might see like a tomato, but I might see a rose. I might see something dark and deep like brick. Like all of those translate to messages and I'm able to decode them. I don't say all of that to my clients. I just know what it means. And it's kind of like a language. So astral projection, probably not necessarily, because I have felt that I was going to do that before. And I was like, hell nah. Like, and then I remember telling my husband, like, I don't know where I'm going to go. And he's like, but you'll come back. Like, and I'm like, yeah, but
trippy.
I don't know.
It's super trippy.
I think that it's going to happen. I feel like you've deposited a seed and it's probably going to happen.
This is confirmation for you.
It's probably going to
synchronicity.
Happen. Yeah, it's probably going to happen.
Yeah. My experience with that were super crazy. The 5 times that I've done it, 3 of them I was scared. The last 2 times I said, fuck it. And I've had some weird things happen. But I will say this is that like when it comes to those spiritual gifts, I feel like at some point you have to accept them. Like I see spirits, I see shadows, whatever you want to call it. And I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? I know that you cannot compromise me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be aware. I'm going to pay attention now. And that's kind of been my thing, is like, I have to accept everything that comes with my spiritual capabilities.
That's a bar, because I think people want the cute stuff and only the cute stuff. And it's not always cute, like one thing that I'll be honest, I'll just say it. One thing that I have not been comfortable with is mediumship. And it's happened. when I don't want it to. And I remember it happened the first time I was here when I first moved here. I was doing a client's hair and I kept saying like a blue fast car. And it was like, I could not say it, right? I was
You seen it in your mind, or you seen it like
I seen it in my mind. Like I'm braiding her hair and I'm seeing like a blue fast car.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I know this sounds weird, but like, I just keep saying a blue fast car. I might've been here for like 3 weeks, right? And she turns around and she's like, my boyfriend just passed away and he had a blue fast car, a blue Camaro, right?
That's crazy.
And so then the message came and I gave her the message. And after that, I was like, I need a break. And she's like, okay. Because it was a surreal experience for both of us. I went into my room because I was doing hair at home, went into the closet and I cried. And I was like, I do not want this. I don't want this. This is not what I want to do. And it left. So I thought, so it comes when it's supposed to come. You know, I don't have it as a service because I don't even want to pip it out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not that. I just can't tap in. It's like divine. I think people or spirits, when they transition out of the body, they search for the channel, the frequency that they could get the message through, which helps for me in my experience. It's helped the person that's still living with their grief, because grief is an emotion that ties the spirit to this realm and they need to ascend and do their work and go through their healing chamber and all of the things. So, yeah, it's not something that I've been really comfortable with, but it's something that I'm starting to be more open with because, well, I've started to be more open with it since my father passed away 2 years ago. November 4th will be 2 years. And even so, when you say seeing spirits, it's not that I've seen him, but I've felt and heard him. And like his obituary is still in my garage underneath a crate because he's not allowed in my house yet.
You're not ready.
No, I wasn't ready. I'm getting ready. I could feel myself getting ready. And I think there's a relationship that people have to understand with the spirit realm. It's like, you don't get out of the body and then you're just like, okay, I'm an ancestor. It doesn't work like that. Because some people are still going to
There's a journey. Yeah, there's a journey.
I think it's once someone transitions out of the body, they're actually able to help you with your healing work. And the work you do here helps heal them too. And helps them ascend.
It's a double.
Yeah. And if you think about karma, that's what karma is, right? And so I've gotten so much more comfortable. Like our relationship, it wasn't necessarily bad. My dad has never like disrespected me, never abused me. He had his own, challenges with substance abuse on and off my whole life. And he was pretty inconsistent, but there were times where he was consistent. And so, when he passed away, I didn't realize that all of my hopes and like what ifs would pass away too. So it was a hard time to like move through that. And I remember like I had the obituary because I had just come back from LA and it was on the couch and it had like fell on the ground. And then I heard like, pick me up. And I was like, okay. And I picked him up and put him in the garage because I was like, I'm not ready yet. Right. And so over the last 2 years, I've had like, he speaks to me through music. I've had dreams where I've seen him like young, like on a cop car. And I could feel that he was moving through his own inner turmoil. And that's why he chose what he chose. So I realized it was not personal to me. And then there's a more recent dream I've had. He was eating. And so my dad was in and out of jail like his whole life, like from adolescent, right? And so he was eating really slow. Like he was looking at his food at a table. I saw him and I was like, Dad, like you're eating slow. And he's like, yeah, I'm learning. And that to me, I immediately thought back to like, we're in LA, we're in a parking lot. We just got In-N-Out burgers and he ate that burger in like...
Oh, shit. No, you're good. You're good. That one's still on.
Yeah, he ate that burger in like 3 seconds. And I was like, how did he eat that burger so fast? But it wasn't until I got older that I realized in jail you have time to eat. So the symbolism or the message through seeing him eat slowly was that the work that I'm doing, the boundaries that I've set are actually helping us both. And so after that, I bought the picture frame earrings from like Etsy. And I haven't put the picture in there yet, but I am going to, instead of having an altar, because I don't feel like people just deserve to be up, right? Like there's a time and a place. So I've bought the earrings and I'm going to put a picture in there and wear the earrings when I want to honor him. So I'm doing it my way, but I know that he's healing because of just the messages that I've received and things like that. and I have a lot more compassion, and it's softened me. Really, it has.
That's beautiful. So you had just mentioned having an altar.
Yeah.
That's kind of something I've been wanting to like incorporate in my house.
So I've had several.
Yeah, that's why I want to ask you about your altar, but I also want to ask you like what other rituals do you have for yourself to?
Okay, so we can start with the altar. So the altar, I take it down and put it up when I'm told. So I don't like put out food for people. Like I'm just not there. That's just not my journey. I'm not against it, but it's just not my thing. The nanny passed away last year.
Oh man.
So, and she taught me how to meditate. So I'm so comfortable with her being up. She's like, I just have like a table, a small little wooden table and her picture there. And I have like a little candle. That's about it. Just as a reminder, because she taught me so much, taught me how to forgive. She taught me this Hawaiian proverb called Ho'oponopono, which is, about like every time you think of someone in a negative way, you say like, I'm sorry, I forgive you, thank you, I love you. And you're really doing that for both of you guys to help heal your heart. And so I have that and her there. But I know everyone has like, you can look on the internet and see like how to make an altar. Yeah. But I think that like, I'm not into like those type of things. So I just honor what I honor. So like, if it's time to talk to my dad or just honor my dad, I'm there. I did a Queen Afua, the Sacred Woman book. I did the fast. And at that point, I was doing some like altar work and, it felt good until it didn't. And then I just took it down. I mean, I'm just like, I feel like I can't give advice on it because it's everyone else's journey. I feel like it's deeply personal. Mm-hmm. And I think that anything could kind of be an altar. But those are things, normally like I'm doing altar work altar work means I'm at my altar, meditating at my altar with the surrounding elements. That's what I call altar work. That's really when like I'm told to, and it's only happened like a couple of times. So I don't have like an altar that's set up that's just like with all these. I don't. I saw a beautiful altar though when I went out to eat the other day at Pata Negra because Day of the Dead, like the Hispanic. Yeah. It was so beautiful. But
they have some great ones.
Yeah, but it's just not me.
No,
you got to be okay if it's not you.
That's facts. That's facts.
It's not me. But other things that I do, honestly, is I take herbs, like actual herbs to help cleanse my body. Working out has become a ritual. Not necessarily just to look good, but just to help my energy flow, to kind of burn out some of my fire. Mm-hmm. Being in the sauna helps. Listening to sound therapy, audiobooks is kind of like a ritual. Essential oils, hands down, top number one ritual for me. Like I use essential oils every day, multiple times a day. I'm playing around with a detox product that I might put out, and it has like dandelion leaf in it. If you understand that, it's a diuretic. And so I really counted and I went to the bathroom 24 times yesterday.
Wow.
Yes. And I went down like maybe 6 pounds, but really it was just bloating.
In a day?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So me, I honor medicine. I'm not going to do that and be like, let me lose 15. But I'm not that. Yeah. It's like, I'm not going to take it today. I'm going to wait a few days and see how I feel. But the point is like herbs, essential oils are like my jam. And that's like what my business is created off of. But like, I didn't realize how certain scents speak to the brain and to the body and to the nervous system. So that's really more of the rituals that like I do. I don't really do I started with like altar, candle work, salt, like all the things. I don't really do that. I'm just you got to understand you're going to be in seasons on this journey.
Yeah, that's facts.
So right now it's just like essential oils and like herbs, but I have taken like spiritual baths. One thing that's a ritual that I do that hasn't changed is like every time I do a session with someone, I take activated charcoal because it helps to remove stagnant energy. So like I could take that in a lemonade or water or something like that. So that's like a thing that I do. But yeah, I don't have anything. I know that's probably like you guys are like
no. Those were all perfect.
That's like all.
A ritual is a ritual, and that's what I've been telling people. Like you have to realize what culture you're a part of, and you have to realize what rituals you do because once you become conscious of them, then you can have control on how you participate.
Well, I would say like because I use all my products. I create products and I use them all. So if I'm thinking about, I do candle work, but not like dressing the candles like y'all would think. I have candles that I've created with intention that have crystals in them. And on the outside, there's an affirmation. So I'll like burn those, you know, when I'm getting dressed or when I'm going to meditate or certain times. And that's become like a thing too.
So that's, we segued right to where I wanted to be. I want to talk about your products because I remember when I did do the sound bath at Revolt, you did some spray afterwards.
The reset spray.
Yeah. So let's talk about these products that you have.
Yeah. So my products were created.
Oh, I thought you was about to pull out your bag. Yeah. Come on.
Let's see what we have in the bag.
Let's see what you got.
I always have something. I don't know what's in here, but okay. We have a calm mist. Is that all I have today? Okay. Yeah. We have a calm mist. There's always something. Yeah. So we have calm mist. So show
me how to use it.
So with the mist, I really love because it's like a quick spray. So I would just spray it kind of like around your aura and then just breathe in.
It smells good.
Yeah.
I feel clean. I feel like clean laundry.
I feel clean. I feel clean. Well, it's chamomile and lavender.
Okay.
And eucalyptus, so maybe that's why you feel clean.
Yeah, I feel like
a lot of things.
Fresh folded laundry.
Yeah. So my products were created really my clients. Like after going through the school, the online school, I learned a lot about how herbs affect the chakras and the body and things of that nature. And so when I would use things in sessions when I was just starting out, you know, people would be like, what's that? And so I started creating things. And so that's where it came from. And then I started to realize like certain scents, certain colors, and certain things are connected to each chakra, and it helps you kind of call in that energy. So if you look at my entire line, it's kind of color coded. So like that calmness would be for your crown chakra, like overthinking. Gotcha. But it also helps with like needing to wind down, calm your looping thoughts. I actually
feel like really chill now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like now that I'm sitting here, I'm like, I kind of feel like I could take a nap.
Yeah. So it actually, the funny story is when my last daughter was born, like she didn't sleep. And so my husband went to Walmart to get a mist. And I was like, hell no, I don't know what's in that. So I created my version. And each of my mist has like crystal essence in it. So like the mixture I infuse with the crystal before I bottle it up. So amethyst is in this one.
That's dope.
Yeah. So all of them. So mist, I mean, I started with body products because I think everybody had a skincare
I seen you
line.
taking something too.
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Yeah, go ahead. My fault.
I almost brought you something too. And I was like, let me just ask him what he wants.
You can bring me whatever. Yeah.
So started with body products because topically that definitely affects your energy as well. And then mist, and then I have like essential oil rollers, which are like mini kind of to-go things. My products are in the Atlanta airport, actually. So that's a pretty dope achievement that I've done.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But the tinctures, that's where I've been. And I'm actually moving into like a couple of powders that I'm going to create, like so you can mix into your drink. But tinctures are really an ancient way of making medicine. So what your ancestors did, all of them did, was take what the earth has given them, the herbs, and they had made their own medicine. So before Big Pharma came, they had to make their own solutions, right? And so the typical way is like you'll take some type of alcohol. It's kind of like the same way that people make like alcohol in jail too. You know, you take it, you let it soak,
ferment it. Yep.
So it's the same thing. You can use glycerin, you can use apple cider vinegar. There's lots of different things a few different things you can use. But I have made blends. Like my favorite would probably be, I've been using lemon balm a lot. Lemon balm, you can drink that as a tea, but lemon balm helps to really calm anxiety, like in the moment. What I love about tinctures is like you could feel the difference within minutes, you know, versus like taking something and waiting for the effects. You could feel it right then. So that's why you probably always see me taking something. So lemon balm for sure. I took it at Revolt because I was really nervous. I didn't know what to expect or the energy that was coming. The other one of my favorites is called Aura Bloom. I actually created that when my dad passed to help open my heart because my heart felt really broken and I didn't know how to help myself because I didn't expect to feel that way. I had a lot of guilt because he had contacted me like a couple weeks before he died and I didn't answer the phone.
Damn.
On purpose because I was setting boundaries. And so, but it happened for a reason. I'm glad I didn't see him I don't have that memory of him. I have different memories.
You have the good memories.
Exactly. So it happened for a reason. But of course, I carried that guilt for a while, and I created Aura Bloom to help just settle my heart space. So what's an Aura Bloom is passion flower, roses, and mimosa flower. And I soak it for like 90 days minimum, and then I extract it. And so, and the tinctures last 5 to 10 years, depending on the base. So it's literally medicine. What it helps with is anxiety. It helps calm looping thoughts. It helps you to be more open. It helps with connecting. So what I learned is that the medicine follows you. So with Aura Bloom, I would take it and I would like be crying and like I have all these emotions and I feel super sensitive. And somewhere along the line, I just started feeling really happy when I would take it. And then I started using it to like have intimacy with my husband. And I was like, whoa, we going to a healthy level. Okay, we like
that's dope.
Up,
that's dope.
And what I realized that my clients, they would be like, oh, it makes me feel like this. It makes me feel like that. And what I realized was it follows what your heart needs. So it opens your heart, and when that whatever's in there is going to come out. And after it comes out and you begin to process that, you start to access that joy. So Aura Bloom has been like one of my favorites because everyone kind of responds to it differently, but it definitely helps with heart work, heart chakra work. A lot of people feel like heart chakra work is just like self-love, but it's really like kind of like Christ consciousness, like understanding the unity and like the compassion for everybody, regardless of who they are, how they are. It's about like unity. It's about receiving, not necessarily just giving. And so I feel like that has helped me with my grief as well, for sure.
That's dope.
And I have a lot of other things, but yeah, those are like my top.
That's fire. All right. So before we end, I'm going to do this with all of my guests. The first thing I need is a book reference, and the second thing is a powerful quote that we can apply to our life.
Perfect. So I brought actually the book Oneness. It's received and transcribed by Rasha. Have you ever heard of, I can't think of the name, but anyway. Oh, not Dolores Cannon. It's another one. Pretty much they're like, Abraham Hicks. Have you heard of Abraham Hicks?
It sounds familiar.
Okay. So this book is kind of like that, where like it's a divine message that they've transcribed in book form. So Oneness is really amazing. It talks about like the state of the world and like why we are here as souls and what we're here to do. It even talks about how like sound healing and all those things may make us feel like we're getting further, but really, we're on our path the way we need to be. It really grounded me in spirituality. I feel like this is why I take the approach of like just accepting everybody for who they are and like accepting as I shift in my own journey. So I recommend this book to everyone. However, it's not an easy read. It's not one of those books that you read through. It's a book that you're going to read for life. This is probably like my 3rd or 4th copy. I have so many around the house. I also have it on audiobook. And a lot of times I'll just like open it and like read a passage.
That's dope.
And it like applies to me. So it's like,
I feel so calm. I'm sorry. I feel so calm now. My voice was like, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but no, this one is like really good. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to read this. There's no value judgment intended here as to who chooses to give himself added layers of life experience with which to reap key understandings, and who is sufficiently complete in certain arenas to move on to other kinds of life work. That's just like one sentence.
That was deep as hell.
Let's see. By making the highest possible choices in any given moment, those choices that emanate from the heart, one makes the optimum vibrational contribution to the energetic collective of you. So it's like, you can read.
I'm about to steal
You
that
can
one.
literally read a sentence and like just meditate on that for like weeks. So like this is like the new Bible to me. Like
that's
for
dope.
the spiritual
No, that's dope.
oneness. It's all about becoming one, and accepting yourself. So really love this book. It's by Rasha. Amazon will get it to you like tomorrow.
I'm about to steal yours. No, but
you can actually have this one if you like.
I'm about to add it over there.
Yeah, I think people getting gifts like use books. It means something. Like,
yeah,
I have highlights and stuff in here.
I'm gonna read those.
So yeah,
and then I'll pass it on to whoever I feel needs it.
I think it's beautiful. I have other copies, so you can have it.
Cool.
And I wanted to bring a gift, and I didn't know what to bring, so look at God.
That works.
And then a quote, a powerful quote. The one that I say to myself every day is, "The game is going to test you, but never fold," and that is by Nipsey Hussle.
You're like the third person that brought a Nipsey joint. That's dope though. It's cool.
And what it means to me is that life is supposed to have twists and turns. It's not a predictable journey. And if you understand that, you won't let it take you out. And I think because I suffered from suicidal ideation at a point in my life and I was folding or felt like I was folding or crumbling, it reminds me to keep going even when it gets tough. And so, yeah, that's my quote.
I love it. Thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing your story. Man, if you guys enjoyed this conversation, if you received the message, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe. Make sure you share this with your mama, your auntie, your uncle.
All of them. Pookie now.
Hey, facts. Anybody that you think needs the message. And until next time, peace, love, and light.
Peace.
Big swim.
I'm on the way. I'm on the way. My vibration got too damn high. I got stuck in the clouds. I'm on the way. I'm on the way. My vibration got too high. I got stuck in the clouds.